What's up, LTD addicts? Let's talk about Clust. Clust is a tool to help you receive information from your clients or prospects. Use cases include web designers collecting assets from a client or a property owner receiving leasing applications from potential tenants. AppSumo is currently offering a lifetime deal for Clust, so you can get a lifetime of file submissions for a one-time fee. But does Clust do anything you can't do with a simple form builder? In this video, I'll take you through every part of the application so you can decide if it's a good fit for your business. Hi, I'm Dave from that LTD.life, where I review software tools with lifetime offers. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell. Now let's head over to AppSumo and check out the Clust LTD. All right, in Clust we trust. Let's go ahead and check out the AppSumo deal page. Let's scroll down here to the plans and codes. Now, what's important to note right out of the gates is that you're going to be assigned to the gold plan for Clust, and that does not include CNAME. This is AppSumo land. The Sumo Lings are aggressively asking for CNAME for this. Now, Clust has CNAME. It's not like they don't know what that is. It's just part of their enterprise plan. So they've been very polite and have not come out and just said, CNAME's not included in this deal. They've said, well, you know, we'd like to know what you'd like to see in a CNAME, as if there's anything other than I would like to put my domain name on the service. So they haven't come out and said no. They said they're investigating it. But at this point, we have to assume that that's not going to be included. You're on the gold plan, not the enterprise plan. So here's what you're going to get. You can have 300 applications. Now, that use of the word applications is confusing to me. I think it's confusing to a lot of people. These are essentially forms. You can have 300 forms filled out per month, and you can have 5 team members logged into the software, right? So the team members can be creating, sending out forms to new customers. All right, and then if you stack a second code, you're going to get unlimited applications per month, which is a really nice bump that was added after the deal launched. And you'll also get an additional 5 team members. After that, every time you stack a code, you're going to get 5 team members and nothing else will change. All right, so let's head over to Clust, keeping in mind that every time you see the word applications, just kind of think form, right? So that's essentially what this is. In fact, if I were to be so blunt, I would say this is a bit of a crippled form builder in terms of it's been mangled in a way to fit a particular use case. Now, to get an idea of perhaps what the folks at Clust were thinking when they built the application, I want to head over to the template library that they created. So if I go over to resources here and go to the templates library, we can see some of the ideas they had for using this product. So I'm going to go to all countries here and just choose the United States so that I get things that are all in English. So you can see they have the idea of using this as a mortgage loan application, a tenancy application. So if you're trying to, maybe you own an apartment building and you got people applying to live there, you have an application like this. A website revamp. So if you're running a web design agency and you want to send this list to your clients to be able to get information from them about what they want on their new website, you could do that. A job application. So you own a business, you got people applying to work at your business, or a small business loan application. Now, without being too hasty, I have to say that I wouldn't trust any bank that is using this application for their mortgage loan application or a small business loan. I just don't see, the security implications. I don't know anything about how Clust is storing their data. However, I know that, banking in particular has some really insane security practices. So I can't see them just picking up an off-the-shelf software as a service and utilizing these tools. That's just my opinion. I have no actual background in security or banking. But if I were to see that as a user, I'd be like, oh, Clust, what is this? I thought I was going to my bank. So just a bit of a concern there. The other things, website revamp, I think that's a little bit more practical. And that's probably where this company should start to lean is in terms of agencies, designers that need to get data from their customers. I think that would be, probably a lot more of a possibility in terms of getting some market reach. So let's see how this works. What you need to do is you need to create one of these templates. So the templates they give you one that's pre-built. So here is the service demo. The templates are essentially just lists of things that you want to get from somebody. So like I mentioned before, if you were doing a website redesign, the things I'd probably want to get from people are, the copy. What words do you want to have on the page? pictures. What pictures do you want to have on the page? Movies, videos, or what videos do you want to have on the page? And be able to create a list of all those, send it out to my client, have them fill it out, and then once I get everything back, then the design process can begin. So the way they have this set up is this is for a service registration where they're asking for someone's ID, proof of residency, electricity bill, last 3 pay slips, and then I actually added this form here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that because that wasn't part of the temp or the demo setup. So let's see what this would look like, and then I'll take you actually through the process of creating one. So if I preview this template, here's what you'll see on the front end. Now you can change this logo. You can actually change the background. And essentially, we've got these 3 tabs up here. So we're on the first tab right now, which is where your user would upload their files. So I'm going to upload my ID, and you click here and you'd upload it. And again, that's where security comes into play, because I want to make sure that if I'm uploading my ID, wherever it's going, there's not going to be a chance that it can be used for malicious purposes. Proof of residency, electricity bill, and last 3 pay slips. These are all file uploads that they want people to send information. I can click over here and see the files that I would have uploaded already. And then I've got 2 other tabs at the top. This one is for communicating, so I can send a secure message. And so it says secure, so hopefully it's very secure. And I could send a secure message, and then this would go to the team. So if I were a customer and I filled out this message, it would be checked on by the business owner, right? And then over on the end here, we can actually share some additional important information. Under description in the template setup, that's where you find this. I couldn't figure out where this information was displayed, so I found it. It's important information is actually under description. And then you can also share some files. All right, so let's see how to actually set up a template like this. All right, I'm gonna go back over into Clust, and why don't we just go ahead and create a new template here. So I'm gonna go back to the templates folder, and we'll do new template, and I'll give this a name, and I'll call it demo, and we'll hit confirm. All right, so here is my demo template. First thing I need to do is figure out what I want to ask people for. So I'll hit add new items. And here are my options. I can request documents or files, and that's what we saw in the example at the beginning, right? It was just 4 or 5 different files that people had requested. We can also have them fill out a form, and I'll show you the form builder in a moment. We can request payment via Stripe, and that's the only payments processor they support right now. We can request electronic signature via HelloSign or DocuSign. We can have a task management thing, or this is just to send off a message to Clust to say, hey, add this feature or request a feature, essentially. Okay, so let's get started, and we'll ask people to include some files here. And this is an interesting user interface. Rather than having a typical graphical user interface where you have to select the items you want, they literally just have you type in what you need. So let's say I'm going to say homepage copy. I'm going to think about this as a website designer, right? Homepage copy, about us copy, services copy, contact us copy. All right, so these are the website pages I want to get the copy from. And you can see what this looks like now. If I preview the template, I could send this out to a potential client, have them upload, say, 4 different Word documents here or something like that, and get the information that I need to design a website. Now, let's say that I want to get a little information about their design tastes, right? That's a common thing. We actually do that, send out a form as soon as someone signs on as a web design client. We'll send them on a form and just get to know a little bit about what they're looking for in their new website. Well, to do that, I'd want to actually add a form to this application, which is weird because I still think of this as just part of a form, right? So to add a form, I'm going to go up to resources, choose online forms, and then hit new form. Here I can give this a name, and I'll call it website tastes, hit confirm. Now this is a very similar screen to what we saw before. However, now we're building a form where people are going to be answering questions. So I'm going to choose new fields. All right, so I just added a few questions here. It says, what are your favorite websites? What do you like about your current website? And what do you hate about your current website? Now, obviously, I'd ask a lot more questions than this if this were a real form, but I'll go ahead and hit confirm. And you can see here, by default, it's given the short text type. Now, I can configure this. If I hit the setup button, I could make it a paragraph option, which would give people the option to elaborate a little bit more. I could also add a drop-down. Now, this question doesn't really elicit a drop-down type of response, but let me just add a few here. Let's say Google, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. All right, so these are my favorite websites. I'll be able to choose between one of them, and I can make that required if I like, and I'll hit confirm. All right, now I've got a drop-down question, 2 short text questions. I'll go ahead and set this up a little bit further. So the other ones we have here is a date, and this would be if I'm having someone choose a particular date. Now, if you're an astute viewer of the channel, you may have noticed this logic jump tab up here. And I can't really figure out how to get it to work. I actually read all their help docs, just short of actually asking their support staff. I didn't want to go that far. I can't figure out how this actually works because, by default, all questions show to everyone, and I can change that to be in some cases. Now, the way conditional logic usually works is, let's say I have a drop-down question. I say, what is your favorite color, red or blue? And whoever chooses red, maybe I'll ask them a question related to red. Now, I can't find any way to choose which question this is related to. No matter what I choose, it says there's no field before this one. Well, there is a field before this one. There's 2 other questions, right? So this is actually a drop-down question. So it's a perfect opportunity. Let's say I went and chose setup here and chose logic jump. I'm just always getting this, there's no field before this one option. So, I think it's broken, but I can't confirm here. So you can see it just defaults back to in any case. I thought maybe, I have to embed the question underneath because you can move these around if you want to reorder your form. However, in my opinion, the conditional logic is just not functioning quite yet. All right, then we can go down here to the form details. This is essentially if you want to add an internal note about what this form is related to, and you can give it a name right there. Then you just hit confirm to save those changes. And after your form is complete, you'll want to go ahead and add that back to your template. So I'm going to go back over to the templates over here, and I can see the one that I started creating called demo. I'm going to click on that to open it up, and I'll add a new item. This time I'm going to choose an online form, and I can call this website tastes, and I'll pull it in from the website taste form. It says display to recipient. This is a peculiar check mark to me because obviously if I'm choosing this, I want to display it to the recipient, and I can also make it required. I'll hit confirm here. Now, if I preview the template one more time, there's just an extra checkbox. Rather than actually displaying the fields in line like I would prefer, I have to click another button, and then I can see my form over here. All right, so my template is nearly configured. I'm going to go to the second step over here, which is called configuration, and there are some drop-down options. This actually took me a hot minute to figure out how to, I thought this was just name the template, but there's actually some more options. In fact, quite a few more options. I can choose the appearance right here. I can choose the hexadecimal color for the icons, and then I can also choose a background image as well as upload my own. And then down here, nice option, you could add some HTML code. So let's say you just grab the live agent deal and you want to pop live agent inside of Clust. You could add your code in right here so that you'd have some live chat when people are filling out their form. All right, next we have client profiles, and this is just customizing the experience for recipients. So this is in the English language. This exemption option will allow people to skip questions. So if I hover over the tooltip here, it says that clients can mark documents as not applicable in their situation. So you can turn that on or off. All right, this section down here that says define all cases when specific documents are needed. I'll just be blunt here. I have no idea what this is asking for. So it says situations where a specific document may be requested, like a passport for a citizen or a visa for an alien. I searched their help docs. I could not find anything that was related to this field. It talks about conditions, nationality, whether they're a citizen or an alien, marital status, married, single, divorced, widowed. These are all seemingly very personal questions, and I have no idea what this is saying. So if someone from Clust is watching this, maybe they can chime in and clarify this section for me. But as it is, I'm just going to leave it there. All right, moving on, let's go up here to where it says time frame. Now this is going to allow you to set a deadline for when an application is due. So it'll be 7 days, in this case, you can change this to say be 14 days from when you send the application to your prospect or to your client. They have to respond, they have to complete it within the time frame that you set right here. Now you can turn this feature off by just choosing no deadline, Or you could choose a specific due date. Let's say you're running an event. The event needs to have everything in by a certain time. You could set the due date right here. And then regardless of when you send out the application, that due date will be fixed and it won't be variable based on when the application was sent. Down here, you're going to see the application stages. This will allow you to keep people up to date on how the application is progressing, or how let's say you're doing a web design, how far along you are in your web design. So this would be like, we've received your documents, designs in progress. Now we're developing, something like that. You can, or, in this case, they're saying submitted, it's being reviewed, and then here's when we'll give you the final decision. So nice, you can add your own language here and it's not strictly configured. Moving on over to the file sharing options. This is where we can include files in the preview. Remember, we went over to that little eye and we could display some files. So I'll go ahead and just upload one here. We can see what that looks like. All right, so I just uploaded a screenshot that I took the other day. I'm gonna go ahead and confirm this and we can preview what it looks like. It's just a screenshot of ClickUp. And now let's go back over to the preview and I'll actually show you what this looks like. So here we are. I'm gonna click on the eye right over here and I can see that file. They can either preview it or they can click the download button to download it. Moving on to the to-do list right here. This is internal so that you can create a list of things that has to happen. So it could be related to those statuses that we were displaying in the previous screen, but maybe there's several sub-steps that you want your team to take in between. So you want to verify the information that's submitted, spell check, whatever it is that is going on, you could add that here and then your team can kind of tick things off as applications are submitted. All right, let's go over to custom fields here. Now this is a little bit confusing. So the custom fields are going to be for you on the back end to add information about your application. So if you needed to make notes, if there's common things that you do after you receive an application, you could go ahead and create a new custom field. Now these are going to be all of the same field types that we saw in the form builder. So short text, paragraph, dropdown, or date. You just go ahead and set that up. And then after an application has been received, your team can go ahead and fill out the custom fields as needed. All right, we're about 2/3 of the way done, actually probably a little bit further than that. Now we're looking at notifications right here. These are going to be emails that will go out to people who you request information from. So these are the types of emails. We have the invitation, the reminder, a status update, and a delivery notice. I can click on each one to preview the text and you can customize it how you like, fit with your language or your dialect. So then we're done. We've created our own template. Now, the next thing you want to do is have someone fill out the template with their information. So you choose new application up here and you're going to choose the template you want to use. I'm going to choose demo. That's the one we just created. I can add the contact's information. I'll call this test, and I'll give it an email address of test@clientamp.com. Go ahead and hit continue. I can give it an internal reference if I want, test. And let's go ahead and add this to a folder. Now I didn't mention, but you can actually organize things into folders. So let's say you wanted to keep all of your web design clients in one folder and all of your sales copywriting clients into another. Well, over here, you can choose folders and we can go ahead and set up some folders. So let's say web design, and I can assign it a color, let's say red, and we'll add another one and I'll call this copywriting. And we'll give this a purple color. So now we're back in the new application and I can still give it an internal reference if I want, but I can add the application into a folder just for easy organization later. Now this is set to a 2-week due date. However, I can modify that before I send it. So that's really nice. I can turn off that notification email if I want. I'm going to leave it on for now. And it does give us the option to edit the notification email right here. So that's a really nice little touch to customize it on a case-by-case basis, maybe personalize it for the person you're sending it to. All right, let's go ahead and hit continue. And now we can finally verify everything that we've set up is correct. And I'll go ahead and create the application and I will have received a notification here. Let's see what that looks like. So here is the email that I just received as part of the application demo. So this is a text, obviously, that I could have modified it. And you can see that it comes from my company name. However, if I click on the email address, it is a Clust mail domain. It would be nice if they were to add your own custom email address so that you could send from your own domain. I know that Newsy, which does proposals, allows you to do that. All right, next we're going to talk about this client portals feature, which is essentially a way that people can log back in after they've received their application to check their progress. So I can do this either by a URL, which they provide for you right here, or you can embed it using an iframe on your website. So I'm going to use this one right here. I want to choose a template to use, which will be one of the templates that I set up initially. I give this an owner, and I've only got one team member here myself. And I can also have these all go into a folder. So I'll just choose the web design folder for now. And I can go ahead and open this up. So here is what it looks like. This is essentially allowing people to log in and fill out that form on their own. So maybe you send this out in an email, like if you're interested in this service, just go here and people can fill out the form themselves. That's important to note that you can create a different page for each template that you have. So when I select demo, you can see the URL is right over here and in 5108. If I switch this over to service, that URL is going to change. So you can have one related to each particular form, although it'd be nice maybe if they just gave you a list of all of your forms right over here and you could choose from that. All right, we're almost done looking at the application. Up here, we just have a few more options to check out. Messages, this is where your secure messages would come in. You remember I showed you that in the application, there was an option to send in a message. So applications right here, this is going to be the applications that we have received. So this is the one that we just sent out a second ago. I can go ahead and view that from my end, or I could also view it as a client to see kind of what they would see. And then the other options I have down here are to send a reminder. Say, hey, it's getting close to that due date. If you don't want to wait for the automatic messages to fire off, or maybe someone says, hey, I didn't get the application, you could send the reminder this way. All right, last but not least, we're going to go over to My Company under Settings. And this is where you can upload your company logo, which you've seen on the application pages we've been looking at. Change your company name right here. You can also add a default background image, toggle whether you're using B2B, include a link over to your privacy policy, set the types of files that you'll accept, as well as the maximum size that people can upload. Now, you do get 50 gigabytes of space with your account. And if you need more than that, you can sync this up with Dropbox or Google Drive, which actually kind of solidifies my position earlier on that I don't think any bank or person that's collecting mortgage applications is probably going to use this software, especially when you're just backing up to something like Google Drive, which is not saying insecure, but it's not necessarily known for having world-class enterprise security. So if you didn't notice, I'm over here in the Clust extensions. That's where we found the Dropbox and Google Drive options. You can also integrate with DocuSign or HelloSign right here and add your Stripe information to collect payments. Clust isn't necessarily bad. It's just not really that useful either. There are so many ways to receive files from clients or get paid for your work. I can't really put my finger on a situation where I'd choose Clust as my ideal go-to tool. The UI is consistent on the back end, I'll give them that, but some options took me a long time to find. Now on the front end, I find that the three little icons to switch between the file submissions, the messages, and the file sharing, they're just not very descriptive. I think many clients are likely to overlook them entirely. I would just about always personally prefer to use something like Paperform, where I can at least customize the look of the forms and include images alongside the questions. Now, this isn't a particularly bad deal. It's just really hard to get excited about as it's such a niche functionality. I guess this one's really for all of you property owners out there that are trying to get new tenants. Clust gets a score of 7.1. If this review has been helpful to you and you do plan to go on to make a purchase, make sure you click the link in the description. That is the referral link for this channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does kick us back a few dollars so we can continue to invest the time in making more LTD reviews like this one. If you like this video, make sure you hit like so I know you appreciate the content. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. I try to reply to each and every one. And don't forget to join the LTD discussion over at our Facebook group. And last but not least, if you're looking for help growing your business online, check out ClientAmp, the digital marketing agency that I manage. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.